Right angle triangle trigonometry, finding unknown sides. There are two types of questions that we'll have to look at. This is video 1. Our aim here is to be able to use a right angle triangle where we know an angle and a side to find one or both of the other sides. So this type of question here. There's a couple of related questions that I'll really quickly mention before we get into how to solve this. If you get asked to evaluate sine, cos or tan of an angle, just use your calculator. Remembering, so sine of 32 degrees, check that you're in degrees, use mode if you're not, degrees. Sine of 32 equals 0.599. Oh, sorry, 5299, so that, well, we'll go to 4 decimal places. So this is the ratio between opposite and hypotenuse when the angle is 32 degrees. Another related question, find the value of x. Cos of 20 degrees equals x divided by 3. We know we can get this from our calculator. We just want to know x. We have x divided by 3. To get x on its own, it's multiplied by 3 on both sides. So x equals 3 times cos of 20 degrees. We don't actually need to evaluate that separately. We can just do 3 times cos of 20 degrees. X would be 2.82. So if you just get given a little equation like this, or asked to evaluate sine, cos or tan of an angle, that's how we'd do it, because they go towards being able to solve this sort of question. So I'll write the steps that we want to do and we'll solve it. Steps. In any trig problem, the first thing you do is you label your sides. Now I recommend only labeling the sides that have something on them, with numbers or letters. So you don't actually need to label all 3 sides if there's nothing on a side. Here's my angle, theta. This is adjacent. This is hypotenuse. Having labeled the sides, that lets you choose and write your ratio. Now, you're choosing the ratio based on which sides you labeled. I labeled adjacent and hypotenuse, which means the ratio I can use is the one with adjacent and hypotenuse. That's cos. Remember SOHCAHTOA? I've got adjacent and hypotenuse, I can use cos. Write your ratio, cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. There will be 4 lines of working, and you must start with the ratio. Substitute in the known values, and my big thing in here is don't forget the angle. We know the angle here, so underneath, keeping the equal signs lined up, cos of 32 degrees, don't forget the degrees sign. Adjacent is our unknown, we write x. Hypotenuse is 16. Don't put the units into your working. No meters. You do put 32 degrees in here. Substitute known values, and then you solve. And you'll notice that what we've got is something that looks very much like this. So to get x on its own, we're going to multiply both sides by 16. X equals 16 times cos of 32 degrees. You don't actually need the times sign. and x equals 16 times cos 32, 13.5687, so x is 13.57, put your units in meters. Solve units. So that's our steps. Label your sides, choose and write the ratio, substitute the known values, solve for the unknown. If we've got a word question, Andrew walks 7 meters up a ramp which is at 38 degrees to the horizontal. How much vertical height did he gain? Now, if there is no diagram, you must draw a diagram. I cannot stress that enough. You know we're doing right-angled trig, you know it's going to be a right-angled triangle. He just walked 7 meters up a ramp. And that ramp is at 38 degrees to the horizontal, and what that means is, at the bottom of the ramp, create the horizontal line, and the ramp and the horizontal are at an angle of 38 degrees. How much vertical height did he gain? That's from where he started, vertically straight up to where he finished. That's our side here, x. Now that you've drawn and labelled a diagram, follow your steps. Label the sides that have something on them. The angle doesn't count, the angle is inside. So this side is my hypotenuse, this side is my opposite. Second step, choose and write the ratio based on which sides I've got. Go back to SOHCAHTOA. I've got the opposite and the hypotenuse. I've got the sine ratio I can use. Write your ratio. Sine of the angle is opposite over hypotenuse. Substitute the known values, including the angle. Sine of 38 degrees equals, opposite is x, over 7. Solve. I've got x divided by 7. I want x on its own. I'll multiply both sides by 7. X equals 7 sine 38 degrees. Remember, this is times, but you don't actually need to put it in there. 7 sine 38, 4.31, and we're in meters. You'll notice both of these had the unknown on the top. We'll look at how to solve when the unknown is on the denominator later. You must know these steps. You must know the ratios. You must show 4 lines of perfect working.